Hi guys, Craig and Annette from AusCamping. Another video today. We're going to talk about the caravan toilet overflush problem. So Thetford call it overflush, and it's when you flush the toilet and the fresh water that you're flushing with comes out of the bowl. So it's coming out with such force that it actually escapes the bowl. We've seen a few people ask the question about this, and we did have the problem with our own van when we first got it. And I'd like to show you how to fix that. So first, let's have a look at the problem. Excuse me, Luca. Thanks, buddy. Outside, please. Good boy. So this is the problem. Let me open both here so you can see it. Now, when I press the flush button, you probably see the water's coming out with such force that some of it will escape through here and possibly over the front as well. So there it is, you can see it coming over the edge here, and now another bit out the front. So that's the overflush problem. What I'll do is I'll meet you outside and show you how we fix that. So here we are outside, and we're looking, as I mentioned, at fixing our overflush problem. So Thetford make a flow restrictor. Okay, a little orange piece of plastic with a hole in it. And it's called the Thetford flow restrictor. Now, I spoke to Thetford at the Caravan and Camping show, and they said that yes, quite often these restrictors get left out. Now, in a European van with lower water pressure, it's not a problem. But here in Australia, they do ask all manufacturers to put this flow restrictor in because our mains water pressure is higher, and also we tend to use higher pressure pumps in the caravans here. So with that information from Thetford, I discovered that we did not have a flow restrictor in our van. So I had a look around and I found Caravans Plus. And Caravans Plus on their website have the Thetford flow restrictor. And it's super expensive, $5.35. But for anybody that might want to make their own, I give you a couple of suggestions. One is you could make your own with a piece of nylon that is 20 mil long. It's 9.8, 9.9 in diameter. As long as it fits in the water hose, it'll be fine. The most important part for the restriction is the internal hole, which is 2.8 in diameter. Now, initially, I fixed our problem with this. So this is a length of home brewer beer hose. It's got a 4 mil internal diameter, and that length gave us enough restriction, but I had to stuff it down inside the water hose, so it was a little bit cumbersome. When I found out about the Thetford flow restrictor, I thought, well, let's do a proper video and show you how the professionals do it. So first thing I'm going to do is turn off the water, because when I disconnect this hose, we're going to end up with water everywhere if the pump's running. Okay, so bear with me. I'll turn the pump off, and then I'll just turn one of the taps on to let the water pressure out of the system, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got the water turned off the water pump, made sure that I'm not connected to mains water pressure, and I've opened one of the taps to let some cold water through because I don't want pressure in this water system. Now, tucked in behind this plastic, you've got a blue hose coming up, and it goes into a white braided hose. So the connector we want to disconnect is the top one. I'm actually going to disconnect both here because I'll incorporate a little mini lesson on John Guest fittings. These type of fittings have a compression ring at the bottom or at the end. You pull that ring up and then slide the hose out. Same with the top one, pull that ring, compress that ring into the fitting and slide the hose off. So you see those rings there, they compress, you pull that in and you can pull your hose out. Nice and simple. The important thing is when you're connecting hoses to these types of fittings is you push the hose in firmly as far as it will go. If you want to, put a toothpick or a little wire rod or something down in here and see how far you expect the hose to go in, and then put a mark on it, because you want to make sure that the hose is pushed firmly in all the way, and then pull it out a little bit, because that's what locks this fitting onto the hose. Okay, so I've got my Thetford flow restrictor. The flow restrictor won't fit inside this blue hose here, so we go up inside this hose, and might be a little bit difficult to get it started, but once it's started we can push it right in. Okay, so you see now I've got my flow restrictor inside that top hose, and that little hole in there is just going to make the flow much quieter. So this fitting here, it's got a 16 stamped on one end and a 12 on the other, so that's a 16mm hose and a 12mm hose. Clearly you won't be able to put that on back to front. And as I said, push this on firmly and then pull it back to lock it in. And this one, we'll push that one in all the way, make sure we've got it seated, and then pull it back to lock it in. And then we just tuck the hose back in to its holder, have a clean up of the little bit of water we've spilt, and we should have fixed our overflush problem. So let's go and have a look and see whether or not it has fixed it. So back inside again, let's see whether we fixed our problem. I'll open both seats again so that you can see what we're doing, both lids, and there we go. Perfect. No water overflowing anywhere, but still getting a full flush around the bowl. So that's the secret to fixing the Thetford overflush problem. I hope that's helpful to you. I'll put links, as I usually do, in the comments so that you can see where we bought the flow restrictor from, and we'll see you next time, I guess. Please feel free to follow and subscribe on both Facebook and YouTube, and we'll keep you updated with more videos.